Is it on?
Yes.
Councillor?
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
I've got various vocals which I'm trying to vary right, so so if I can read it, it's distance. This meeting will be live streamed through the council's Facebook page. Persons' attendance will be captured on film except and seated in the public seating area. With the exclusion of the first row, any speech may be picked up and broadcast. A fire alarm drill is not planned. In the event that the alarm sounds, please make your way out of the building using either staircase to the meeting point and rip up and wait for further instructions. Councillors are reminded to avoid the risk of being seen as predetermined or biased as you consider all debate prior to deciding on how to vote on items of business. Urgent items for information only can be brought to the attention of the committee at the discretion of the chairman at the end of the meeting. No decision can be taken on items not detailed on the published agenda. Please can you make sure that your mobiles are turned off or on silent? Right. Apologies for absence.
Councillor Coleman, illness.
Can I propose it on agree? Thank you. Second. Okay. All in favour? Thank you. Declarations of interest to receive disclosures of interest from councillors and matters to be considered at the meeting. The disclosure shall include the nature of the interest. If a member becomes aware during the course of the meeting and interest had not been disclosed, they must do so immediately. I will first register an interest in item 62354/25/full as a Western Borough Councillor. Any other declarations? No? Thank you. Public participation. It's really nice to see a member of the public.
Absolutely. I'm here as a resident and a member of the public. Oh, you need the other microphone.
Please.
I don't think you need a microphone. Right. Yes, the first application that you're looking at, the Liddell's application, I am sure you have gone through the grounds for planning permission, which I'm sure you've all got, so I don't need to repeat those, other than to say the impact on pollution worries me, and also the fact that the residents up there, and it is mainly a residential area up beyond Moleven, they have their own water services up there, and they are extremely concerned about the water. Accidents, the revision of the plans does not obviate the risk of traffic accidents and traffic congestion, because it is literally 5 yards from the junction of the A30. I had another look when I came back from Tavistock today. And I must admit, I didn't write down the time frame of this, but however, according to a Freedom of Information, the accident stats on Exeter Road, the top of 2,500 traffic offences and 10,000 offences on Exeter Road. And a lot of there's been a lot of accidents. As you know, the Chair of Hamlets was manager of Moleven, and she said the number of collisions and accidents up there was horrendous. The thought of 200 or whatever it is vehicles an hour trying to get in and out of Liddell's is going to exacerbate things, especially in the summer. We all agree we need another supermarket, and I'm glad that it's Liddell's and not yet another supermarket applying. However, is that the right site? And I don't think it is. I'm happy to see another supermarket. I think that is going to be too big, too dominant from Dartmoor. That's another one. I mean, when you stand on Klondike Hill corner now, the town is, you know, it's not like it was. But I think it's too dominant, too big, and I think the traffic is going to be horrendous.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Members' questions.
Nothing tonight, Tony, later on. So, all right. I'm on 10, 10, 1 and 10, 2 later. Okay, thank you.
You surprised me.
Well, no, I don't.
Okay,
No, I'll do my best.
go ahead.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, I'm not understanding what's in part 2. Can you just confirm whether it would be relevant to speak about the vape shop now or at a later stage?
In part 2.
Thank you.
Okay. Minutes to confirm and approve the minutes of the planning committee meetings held on 1st December 2025, 12th of January 2026. For those who attended, are you happy that a true reflection? So you take a bit, propose that
So
way.
I'll be saying
This way, all in favour? Okay, thank you very much. So, planning applications. First one, 235 4th Street, 25 foot. This is a advertisement, additional supporting information provided, construction of food store class EA with associated parking, landscape, drainage and service. Land at SX 612953. And the comments are supposed to be in by the 5th of February.
I don't know what drawings you want or anything, but
Right.
that's the sort of site plan.
If you could bring up the whole list
Yeah, there you go.
and then come down to, well, I've put little amendments beside on the files on the 26th of the 1st this year. Where's the text? Oh. Next one. No. I think you passed it. You passed it way up.
I don't remember seeing that one for the amendments.
Just slow down. My eyes can't catch up. So 26th the 1st. Look for that first.
The 20th, you said, didn't you?
26th.
Well, that's today.
It is today. I went down wrong. Maybe it's 21st. 21. Ooh, just hold still a second. That's that National Park.
If you go down further, it's just the letters of representation.
Yes, we see interest from the representations. A lot more against than for now. Where the heck is it? It's strange because I seem to think the dates are on the other side from the screen I was looking at this morning. Okay. Now that's it. I clear it. So.
Are you looking for that one?
No. I was looking at the list that Little have put together, and they've highlighted all the bits that they.
All right.
know I should have printed it out.
Really? Is it the report that says response to LSH report, LSH report including
That one.
appendices? Is that it?
Click on.
No.
No,
Oh,
that's,
the one you've
that's the plan.
done.
Okay.
Consultee response table, is that it?
Yeah, you can try that one.
Lots.
That be it?
If you scroll down, if there's anything in red, it would be, I don't think it is.
No.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay,
Oh, is it the amended submission covering letter you're looking for?
so again.
Is it the amended submission?
Here you go,
Covered
this is
letter.
it, look.
There it is.
Find it?
Yes, if you scroll down. So everything that's in red is the updated bits. So, as you can see, they've, because of what others have put forward in the last consultation, that's brought forward these. So, boundary issues, for instance, so they've made changes to the boundary treatments. And I think they've made some changes which may have affected with that surface treatment, so it's it's all to try and cover all of the issues that have been put forward to them by West Devon and other consultees. Hence this. If you'd like to just scroll further. So there's certainly an issue about ecology, so that having an update on that. Energy is sustainable statement. They've upgraded that. So if you just keep scrolling through, the only way to look at these is to go through every one of these to see if what they're now stating. There's certainly a big issue about drainage, landscape visual assessment, and planting details, which again is around the borders. Noise impact assessment, there was certainly a concern about that, not only from neighbours but most everybody else. So, yeah, so those are the red areas. Now the big issue that still hasn't been addressed is the sequential test. So the Lidl's put forward what they thought was their sequential test, and as I said last time, that goes to an independent person who looks at it, does a report on it, that's come back, that's gone to Lidl's who looked at it, come back with through this system to update or stick with what they're saying. Now the thing with the sequential test, because we're now going through a separate application, that now has to go back through the independent person who will look at what Lidl are now saying and see if that actually changes that person's mind. They will then report to West Devon, that will then come back through the system as to what they think. And as I said to the planning this afternoon, it's like playing ping pong. So just back and backwards and forwards, along with other issues within this report, until it comes to a conclusion, as in West Devon's conclusion to agree to anything, not agree to anything, or requiring more consultations. You've got the roads, certainly Devon County Council, I think it's also national, said that no planning permission should be given for 3 months, while at that time, Lidl's had time to give more information. Then they were saying again, 3 months, and that's very hard for planners to work with, because they're still waiting for information to come from highways, etc. And they can't get it for 3 months. So that's an awkward. So as I see it, I'm absolutely neutral at this point. Tonight, you've got 2 choices. You can either say a neutral view based on the fact you still haven't got all the relevant information, or I can give you all those green bits in there are the policies you could look at and decide whether you say yes or no tonight. What else I put in? Yeah, that was about it. Yes, Councillor.
I think, based on the information that we've got in front of us and what's given, it's still not conclusive, so I think I propose that we do the neutral view. I don't object to this at all. And I think the arguments about traffic are the same for the railway junction and the same for the Handlegowan Road junction. They're exactly the same for not the speed of people up and down there. We have suggested that they put many roundabouts at these junctions. So these are not unsurmountable issues that can be addressed. I take into consideration the accidents that have occurred. However, accidents occur wherever you live around this town. Doesn't matter whether you live on the main road or whether you live up on Moyes Meadow. The amount of bugs that we get up there is unbelievable. They're never reported because they're just like for like. So I propose that we do a neutral decision.
Any other comments?
Just going to say I support that proposal. Again, we don't know all the details. Trying to be, what do you call it? Avoiding predetermination. I'd rather deal with all the facts when they're at hand. So yeah, I would support Councillor Cummings.
Yeah, and if I could just sort of speak in debate really. For me, I would actually rather, as a council, we did vote one way or the other actually, because I think this is something that's really important. I get that it's not within the town boundary. However, and I also understand we don't have all the full information, but I believe the application process, the consultation closes on 24th of February. So I'm not sure if we've got another planning meeting before the 24th. So if we haven't, this is our last.
You can have one if you want one.
I think
Right.
we
In
have,
front of another meeting, but
If we
they want full comments by the 5th of February.
5th of February, right? Okay.
So
Perhaps if I could just, if Chairman, if you just bear with me, if I could just sort of
Yeah.
put my thoughts together, and then others may wish to speak before you take a vote on that. In terms of some of the things that are on the documents in the portal, I mean, I know Highways have said they want another 3 months, but it was notable when the exit from the west side to the east side was closed, and we did have to go right around the A30. I did have to make that journey a few times because for personal reasons, and coming off the A30 at the White House Junction, it was queued back. Now, it wasn't actually queued back onto the A30, but the slip road was queued back. And that was with not a lot of traffic actually coming out, heading east because of the impact of the road closure. So that was with really not a huge amount of traffic on the old road. So so when you've got normal traffic through, was it the B31 I can't remember the number of it. To me, it's the old A30. It's the old main road into town. So when you've got normal traffic going up on that way, I can quite see why highways are concerned about the queue back onto the dual carriageway with vehicles trying to come off there and there's other vehicles trying to turn into Lidl. I noticed on the Sweat Path statement they've got that relates to the HGVs turning and they haven't actually addressed just your ordinary domestic traffic. So that is also of concern to me. With the viability or the, as you say, the sequential tests or sequential assessment not having been perhaps thoroughly explored or as thoroughly explored as it could have been. I know people are saying that it will relieve the congestion in the town centre, but of course it won't because that's the existing site has got planning consent for retail use, so there'll be another retail going there, so it isn't actually going to reduce the traffic congestion in the town. So I am concerned that there are perhaps that isn't the best site. Like the Member of Public said, I have no, I think yes, to have a supermarket on that side of town is needed. However, I don't think this is the right location. I don't think it's a particularly safe location. So for me, I would actually be looking at we've already got a proposer and a seconder, so I'll leave that. I won't say any more on that. That's just what I wanted to put in for now. Thank you.
Yes.
I would concur with what has just been said largely, but also I want to say what I was listening to just now was the impact of pollution on the water quality and so forth in the area, which concerns me, and also now having to go on the diversion which still exists for larger vehicles which turn in onto the B road, which has been said. They come in around that corner quite fast, and unfortunately buses coming in around there, which is what I travel on, would be very dangerous to come into the it's basically where the Lidls would be, so it is extremely dangerous, that sweep in around that corner. So I think it's a traffic issue that I would think about, and also something which is mentioned in terms of visual impact just now. There's the visual impact of this site from the national park, which I think is important. The national park is an important natural resource for this town, for tourism, and so we can't really ignore that just for the sake of for having a supermarket there. Now, I'm sure it's fine, but there is probably another location that could be used. So I would be supporting what Councillor Yellen said. Thank you.
Yes. You will be aware that those of us, and this is a matter that we've discussed here before, you will be aware that those of us who are involved with the potential neighbourhood plan have visions for that area which we want to present, and we want the opportunity and the time to present them. But having said that, I am aware that I have to make a decision on the basis of what I find in front of me. So, but fortunately, I find myself objecting, as do my esteemed colleagues, that I do not think that they have given proper thought to the roundabout and the road situation. So I shall be joining those colleagues who are voting against it tonight.
Okay. So I have a proposal and I have a seconder for a neutral stance until such time as the committee gets all the information. So those in favour of that proposal? Against? Okay. Against carried.
So please, therefore, as that vote is lost, may I propose that the view of this council is to object to the plan. Please, may I put that forward as our proposal?
You can do if I have a second first before I go for a full vote.
We need grounds. That,
I'm about to do that.
yeah, so and this councillor just
Well,
to clarify his grounds for
I
his
was-
proposal, and then we can
I
go
was
on.
On the basis of the plans that are presented to me tonight, not including the excellent things you've said, my personal grounds are on the basis of I join you in considering that there are problems with access and highways, and therefore that reason I would be voting against it.
Okay. From a policy point of view,
Absolutely.
you need to start to state some policy numbers. So just for your consideration, that's why I've been spending a lot of time going through. This is a joint local plan, so these are all the policies to do with planning. The first one that would come to mind is development in the countryside. So it's outside. So that's TTB 26. Just keep that in your minds. We also have specifics for Oakhampton. If I go back enough. Bear with me. Yeah, we do have one for transport, general. So that's thank you, Dev 29,
Sorry, what was that?
DEV
29.
29, where if anyone wants to read it, there's quite a lot within that covers general transport and access, etc. We have in here somewhere two things specifically for Oakhampton, which shows the development areas for Oakhampton, and that section's not in it. It's very specific what those areas are for. If I find the noise, I'll tell you. There was something about concerns about flood risk. It's on the top of the hill. Now, it may well have issues where it comes to drinking water for the locals, but from a general flood risk, I don't know whether you can use that one. Carbon development is something, waste management, meeting the community infrastructure needs, but that's for new houses. I did find it quite difficult to find out anything that actually covered proper this type of development. Dev 25, nationally protected landscapes. So that's looking both ways when it comes to Dartmouth National Park. Be located and designed to respect scenic quality and maintain an area's distinctive sense of place or reinforce local distinctiveness.
That's a good one.
For instance, I'm only telling you what's in the policies, not leading you. I'm just telling you, you can, I think you've got one of these here somewhere. So if members want to look through it, quality of design, Dev 20, place shaping and the quality of the built environment, questionable.
Councillor Leach, I think we have enough policies, do we not?
I think it's probably,
I'm looking to my colleague beside you.
I think that's the basics.
Is this right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The councillor said we have enough. We think it's policies.
There are specific things for employment and for Oakhampton, which is TGV 14, and TTV 15 specifically for Olympic stopping. And again, this site is outside.
Yeah, fine.
Councillor Leach, Councillor Young.
Councillor,
And Councillor Cummings.
yeah.
Can we also add in, please, about economic impact? That's to do with the sequential test. The impact of moving out of town when there are more within town locations, alternative locations.
Which is the ping pong effect.
Yes.
Listen to everything, and you've not covered anything that I've not taken into consideration. I think that if we vote against now, we may not be able to put something right in the way with anything that's adapted in the future. All these things that have been raised, as we just had the list, are all covered in their documents.
Yes.
There's not one of them that's not been covered. Right? They're going out and they're being challenged by the highways departments and various other people to come up with alternative ways of doing these things. The thing that it is, right, if they've been challenged with using the two brownfield sites, 60 to 62 North Road and the old pie factory site after it's demolished. For whatever reasons they're saying they're not considerable at the moment. Right? If we vote against these particular things, the land that's up on Stockley Hamlets now, the land that's associated there to do building work, would be very problematic for some businesses like this. I just think that if we vote no now at this precise time, while there's still information gathering, we could be putting a hole in the foot for something in the future. I'm not saying that this is the right way to do it, I'm just saying that we should be very mindful. There's a lot of research going on to see what can and can't be done. Everyone can come up with all reasons to oppose it and whatever. I just think that we need to be very careful.
Yes.
I think, from my point of view, that I think it'd be great to have a supermarket on that side of town to serve the people in all the new houses. But I just also agree that that plot of land which they've chosen is just the wrong place, because I think when I think about supermarkets that I go to, and you drive in and it's usually a long windy road, so if there is tillbacks of people finding the right spot, and especially from the planning for the Lidls, then you drive in and immediately there's parking, and as people are taking their time to reverse in as they would, you know, especially on a wet windy time, then you're going to have tillbacks. And I just think that road is such a busy road. I just think that I just think it's the wrong site. I think yes to a supermarket, but just not there. And so I think if our no is because just not there, then that pushes it to say where else. Because I can see, I've got a map in front of me of Oakhampton, there's other places which wouldn't be right on that busy road. I just think we'd be looking for accidents and looking for problems. And that's my view.
Okay.
Yes, I would agree with wholeheartedly with what Councillor Bird said, and previously, before we went into all the documentation, or what Councillor Young has said very clearly earlier. So I think it's the wrong site. I'm not against the supermarket development, but this isn't the right site for it, for the reasons that have been outlined. So I would want to try to go back to the vote and vote against this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a proposer. Do we have a seconder?
No.
Did we have a seconder?
Well, I'll do again and do it
You've got
again.
a proposer?
Yeah, this was a proposer.
That
Yes.
wasn't a second earlier.
Yes.
That was a question. So,
I think Councillor Allen just seconded.
No,
I'm
that's
saying
yes.
it. I mean, we've just gone round in circles on this.
Just it,
Go
we
on.
have proposed a second
Second.
to say no to this application.
To say no to this application.
So, all in favour of that? Those against? An abstention. We watch this space.
Very good, Tony.
Okay, next one, 004326 Fulham. I'm pretty sure we've had this one, because I think it got withdrawn before. This house.
I don't know whether I should declare an interest or not. I was spoken to about this.
You came to Justice Secretary yourself.
I know the people that own the business. They spoke to me because they were concerned that they'd been spoken to about planning officer on the change of use for a flat upstairs. But when they came to review the flats, the change of use downstairs hadn't been mentioned, and now all of a sudden they've had to put in planning permission. So there was a concern. That's where my information lies.
No, that's fine. So it's the same application, but it's just been covered the whole of the property now. So any comments from memory we said fine last time.
Last time I said fine. They're doing really well. I think they've begun to sort of change the process now. I'm a thriving business that we badly need in the town.
Yeah.
So I'm on for it.
So you're happy to propose that?
I'll propose that if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, I'll wait. It's a personal, it's not.
Yeah.
Second?
I'll second, yeah.
All in favour? Just payments. Right. Planning authority decisions. Too many pieces of paper. I'll find it by the time you. That's what I've got. It's got on the back, so it counts. I won't read through them, but is there anything there you'd like any clarification on or you're concerned about?
Councillor Yelland.
Yes.
Yes, right. Yes.
I think what I would say is actually is, again, since we've been having these reports, it's always been very useful to compare our decisions with the actual outcome for the Borough Council. And again, in fact all of these, our resolution has actually been echoed in what the outcome was. There's nothing being controversial within it.
It was interesting.
So
The one we absolutely objected to was refused.
was refused, yeah. So we're making good decisions, I think.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No? Yes.
The only thing that confused me a little bit, and it's a tiny confusion, is on the very bottom one, which is the TPO 349525 TPO.
Yeah.
We took a neutral view, and it says split decision, and I'm just asking for clarification.
Split decision because they've agreed to.
Sorry, so we're taking more.
There- There was three trees. They've agreed to two, but the third one, they've said, leave it alone. It doesn't make it worse than it did last year. And there's a possibility it could recover. And that's giving it a chance.
So that was the meaning of split decision.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Good. This one will be quick. So the National Planning Policy Framework, I did send round with my report for the full council. The issues, the basic issues with the changes to the NPPF. And as I said at that time, it isn't a case of tinkering with it. It's a complete change, and it's a massive change that we'll have to either get to grips with, or I think it's the case of we will have very little input into anything at all in the future. So it could be that even West Devon and West Devon committees, they might only be looking at majors. Everything else will be done through the offices. Even members at the moment that look at me, the officers will come forward with their conclusion, and you can agree, disagree, or call it into committee. That won't be there. That'll be gone. So the amount of input people can put in is going to be minimal, and I would assume it's going to cascade out talent way to towns and parishes, unless there's some feeding back through these boards, committees, what they call these community groups, whether there's any feedback that can be done through that, if planning is part of it. Yes.
Could I just ask a question on that? Is that because of the changes at the MPPF level, or is that simply because of changes within the delegation scheme? MPPF are actually removing that option for calling.
It's over for consultation, so if anybody wants to get hold of that and send their own response back in, please do. It's mainly, certainly West Devon, they're ploughing through all this documentation as we speak, and it's down to even the fine print. You know, you've got your policy and you've got your fine print under it. Everything has changed, and it's the professionals are finding it quite difficult to really get to grips with what this will eventually mean.
Can I just come back? That seems to me very unfair, because planning officers, particularly when the tilted planning balance is so close, that they welcome it coming into committee for it to be debated in the public domain and that to be a committee decision. So that is going to put actually a lot of additional pressure on planning officers who, while they're going to have the authority to make that decision, but where it's really, really close and there's a huge degree of public interest,
Yep.
you know, public are really taking an interest in a particular application, that seems to me to be put a lot of undue pressure on just one person.
Well, it's undue pressure is to build. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
And saying we don't know what it is quite, but it's the same with inspectorate. There will be changes in how inspectorate handles anything as well. It's chuck it all up in the air and see what drops on the floor. A bit like, I'll turn that off. But it's a bit like everything else that's going on in this country. It's got to be a massive change. Not look at things sensibly and come up with a sensible decision. You know, let's tear up everything and see what happens.
So again,
My personal view.
so does that then go into remove consultation from public and at parish council
As
level?
as far as I could see at the moment, if everything goes through, yes, we would have all single stuff, small stuff, just all go through the office.
So those are with no consultation, no public can comment, and equally parish councils wouldn't be able to comment either. But presumably there would be
That's as
some.
far as I know.
There would be the statutory in the sense of highways, and because you know,
They'll
that's
still
the
have
upper
to-
tier. But
They'll still have to stick to policies. That's the other thing that sounds like it's going to change. So instead of there being a lot of local policies, there'll be national policies that you'll have to comply with. Everybody has to comply with the national policies. Yeah, biggest beauty. But as and when, that's what people say, but as and when more information comes down, and once our planners, the experts, can get to grips with it, I'm sure that I'm hoping they'll send something out more succinct. Yes, Councillor.
I hear what you say, and quite clearly, I think the only way, it's not something I can explain easily, such that, is that clearly there's going to be a direction where national policy comes down to a certain point, and then if we're suggesting, and the current arrangements as far as I can see in the law, is that there's no intention at the moment to remove what I would call the neighbourhood plan aspect of it.
Well,
So as far as I can see, there'll be a national policy coming down to a lower level than currently exists. It will meet the neighbourhood plan, and of course the neighbourhood plan can't object to, you can't change any of the national plan, but it is going to be in a position to set in train all the things that we want to happen locally, and in fact, as a result of it, neighbourhood plans will be 2 or 3 times more important than they are today, because if this goes ahead as it's presumed, then it'll be the neighbourhood plan which is saying what we want, and then it'll be up to the officers to deliver that on a, shall we say, on a day-by-day basis. So in that sense, although it changes what we do here tonight, in this committee meeting, it doesn't actually change, it enhances the activity that we as a group would like to perform, which is to actually set a serious neighbourhood plan for the area. So I think once again, I make a plea that the West Devon Borough Council stops standing in our way to do this. You know, and especially as their, and it has to be said, especially as their decision is based not on the correct legal understanding.
I think one of the things we've got to take into consideration in all this is the development plan for West Devon. So we've got, West Devon's got 30 months to do what should be a 5-year, take 5 years to do a plan. Those will have policies that go with them. But at the end of the day, we don't know if all those policies will be relevant when the big ones come nationally. We know there's certain things like if you've got a railway station, for instance, one thing they are going to say is any development close to a railway station will just get a tick.
Yes. Mr. Chair.
So where does that leave neighbourhood plans?
For the record, please may I ask you if you wouldn't keep referring to West Devon's policy.
No.
We don't know yet that West Devon will exist in any way, shape or form within 2 years. I just worry about we using that sort of terminology. There will be a planning authority. That planning authority could be in Exeter, it could be in Torbay, it could be anywhere. But what it certainly will not be is West Devon.
But the plan, which has to be done in 30 months, will be done before the changes. And then all districts will be doing those plans. They will be passed on to the new unitaries, whatever they are, and they will have that evidence to work with for the bigger plan. That's as I understand it. And so for me, it's done complicated. And I don't know why it hasn't been done.
Councillor Leach,
Yes.
can I ask that we suspend standing orders to allow Councillor Goffrey to speak? She's indicated to me.
I would just want
No,
to
we have to
point
vote.
out,
No, you,
if I may,
wait,
No, we have to wait
please.
whether we vote for that.
We okay with that? All in favour of suspending? Anyone against suspending? Yeah, that's covered.
I just wanted to point out that if the 451 plan goes through, which is what West Devon are hoping, there will still be an office in Tavistock, certainly. So don't write off Tavistock totally. So I'll say West Devon totally.
Thank you. But we can't actually guarantee that because it's down to the new unitary is how they set it up. We might have a nice office built somewhere here. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll reinstate
Anyway,
standing order.
Yes, please.
Reinstate standing order. Yeah, I've got little hands up, that's good. Thank you, Councillor.
All in favour? Yeah.
Everything's done.
Thank you. No, I think I'm supposed to do that. But
Oh,
thank
sorry.
you. That's okay. Anyway, that's as far as I can go with the NPPF. It could be quite an interesting time, but certainly for the West Devon and all of the staff throughout Devon, it's a tremendous amount of work to go through and keep this day job going. It's, right, okay, thank you. Historic windows. So a query from Councillor Marshall about removal of the leaded windows from above the old Air Ambulance Shop, 4 Street, and protection of historic windows within the conservation area. Here on the front and a piece of paper. I've checked with one of our conservation officers, and we think it's number 34, but I don't not quite sure. But anyhow, we know the property, and it would appear that if it's the shop and the whole building is at one, then there's nothing to stop people changing windows, but they mustn't change the facade look of those windows. So they have to be like for like. Right? You don't need planning to do that because it's not listed, and but it's in a conservation area. You cannot change how it looks on the outside. If they change it, they should have planning permission. If they're flats above, and I don't know what it is there nowadays, then they don't have any permitted development rights at all. And anything they do to those windows must have planning permission. So the conservation officer is taking it on themselves to actually get our enforcement team to have a look at it. So if we can pass that back to Councillor Archbishop. But I'm pretty sure that isn't listed. The only one is, I think, along this road to house is the one that's now the nail bar. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I think she's referring to number 32 where we did the voting on the changes to the windows upstairs, and we voted on the redecoration of the downstairs window with that, which is about funded.
Yeah, it was a bit confusing.
I think it's that one.
Don't think it's that one.
It was between two numbers.
Right, number 32 was the old ambulance shop.
It was certainly and that's what this one.
Yeah. So they're the ones that have been coming to us regularly with regular planning applications.
So that's that one. Policies. To consider the policy and make recommendation to the Policy Resources Committee, and that's tree policy statement which you've got in front of you with some red markings on it.
Those are as suggested by the West Evans tree officer.
Yeah. So, any comments for that? Yes, Kate.
I was just going to ask actually if the text from Policy Dev 28 and the relevant part from the supplementary planning guidance could be actually included rather than just a reference to, because I don't suppose any of us would be able to quote that when we have planning tree applications before us.
What was it?
It's Dev 28 and talks about the supplementary planning guidance. Will there be a relevant part of the SPD somewhere?
Yes, trees, woodlands and hedgerows. So development that would result in the loss of or deterioration of the quality of ancient woodland, ancient veteran trees, impact on their immediate surroundings, other woodlands or high amenity trees including protected trees, important hedgerows including Devon hedgebacks, will not be permitted unless the need for and benefits of the development in that location clearly outweigh the loss, and this can be demonstrated. Development should be designed so as to avoid the loss of or deterioration of woodland trees or hedgerows. If the loss of trees, woodlands and hedgerows cannot be avoided, new native and local appropriate trees and hedgerows will be sourced as mitigation to ensure they contribute to the net gain. Mitigation should be delivered on-site, but if this is not achievable, off-site compensation will be required to provide a net gain in canopy cover in line with local standards.
We can add that in if you want to.
Do you want, you've got this book, so you can take it and vote it. Hang on a second. Yes, the blue bits in these books, that's the policy. The write-ups afterwards suggest for interest really. I only found that without planning permission a few years back, but I thought they could be used, those statements afterwards could be used in a study account. But this first statement, the visual contribution that trees, woodlands and hedgerows make to the community is significant. They also offer additional benefits which may not be so visible, but are hugely significant as we move to adopt a climate change, etc., etc. But broadly.
I was going to say, I'm happy to propose that we approve this with the amendment that the actual policy, the wording of the policy is included so we can actually physically see it, because we're not going to have access to the JLP during, here, unless it was put onto a document that was always
on the screen.
So I would like to propose that.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, there is just one thing that it took me a little while, not being a gardener, to understand what the meaning of self-set was.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And I just wonder whether other people might find that, in the future, might not understand that.
Okay, it's basically where the
I know.
the seeds fall off the tree.
I
and
know.
it's
But is that would you expect that to be a commonly understood definition for all people around this table? Yeah, well,
I know because we did it at school, and I also worked in market gardens and nurseries.
Maybe,
Mr.
Mr. Chair, an explanatory note might be appropriate, given what Councillor said.
I mean,
This is what I think of.
wouldn't it be nice if we had younger councillors? We don't have the time to go.
Okay.
I was just going to propose to the Chair that we have an explanatory note based on your comment. So
Thank you very much.
That's nice and concise,
I
really.
have a proposal over here to start with. Would you like to add something to it? Just to cover?
Yes, I'm happy for that amendment to be included, that there is a explanatory note as to what self-set meant.
Okay, thank you. And you'll second it?
Oh, I'll second it. Yeah, definitely.
All in favour? Anyone?
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks very much. Thank you very so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Levity,
Well, indeed.
We need some levity in this world at the moment. It's pretty dire.
Oh, it
Yes,
is,
councillor.
yeah.
I was just going to propose to accept the account.
Oh, right.
Oh, well,
I'll start
way
it
ahead of
first.
us, Rosie.
So it's item 9, payment
Item
of
nine.
fees to resolve and approve the payment of invoices as listed on the schedule. And you notice I said schedule. I get so fed up with people using the Americanism. But
Oh,
there you
right.
go.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, it's just me being old school.
That's all right. Councillor Inch?
So any concerns about this? Any questions? No? Okay. Councillor Cummings to propose we accept it. Can I have a second? Thank you. All in favour? 4 hands. You've already signed that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't realise I was in there this morning and did it.
No,
So,
it's fine.
sorry about that, Councillor.
That's fine. Perfect. All right. I'll put in here first. This will go under the first bit before I go into these bits. And it's sort of,
It's just a different piece in the agenda.
yeah, look, it's, I think
This
it
is
wouldn't,
an urgent item, is it?
yeah, well, urgent is, it's just something I wouldn't make sure everybody did it. So various roads, Oakhampton proposed no waiting at any times in the parallel parking. This is associated with the railway coming, and the one thing that I've gone back to our Devon County Council about, and that's Harstockley, Mead, that and industrial estate, where they show they've just about got no parking everywhere, except on the area where Lucky's Park, and you can't see what's coming the other way. So I said I would bring it, I said to the Devon County Council, I'd bring it up tonight to comments of the general comments committee. That's where we just go back and say you should cover the whole of that road with no parking.
Can you just confirm where you're talking about, please?
You should have that plan. Was in colour, I think mine isn't. And those dark black lines, so you're coming from off Exeter Road in here. You've got,
Go to the promise.
I always use the wind turbine as a focal point as to where that is.
Well, the road
So going into fourth grade, and that's that instead. And you'll see they've put no parking. There's a little bit there which allows parking, which is sort of fine. But everything else is no parking on the road, except that section there. And it's on a bend. And today, you drive up here, there's 2 or 3 lorries coming. Time you've actually committed, it's a bit
Yeah.
like Limehouse Road. You get to the hill, and until you've committed, you can't see what's coming towards you. That ought to have no parking as well. That's just for it. Yes, you both know that.
Through the chair, I've mentioned this on many occasions when I was driving taxis, and now that I would go to the office up there, the amount of issues it caused for people. So I find it quite surprising that it wasn't put onto the proposal in the first place.
But it's out to official consultation now. So we either do it individually. We can't go in this because it's not on the agenda. But I said I'd bring it to your attention. Okay, 10. Members' reports, requests for agenda. Members' reports and requests for agenda items. Dartmoor Railway Association.
Yes, okay.
Would you like to
Yes, I
do
will.
the forum at the same time?
Yeah, I will sequentially they will be,
Sequ-
they will kind of go like that, you know, which means they follow after each other, something like that, isn't it, in English, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so on the Dartmoor Railway Association, one of the issues there, which I will come on to in the next little piece, is the impact really on the station facilities and the Railway Association and its attendant sort of shop and other activities there, of the, which we will come on to in a moment, of the rerouting of the 118 bus and other bus services, which I'll talk about in a moment. So there is a concern from the association with regard to what the impact will be of the changes to the public transport to the station. So that's just what I want to say there. Also, I want to say to you that the DRA, Dartmoor Railway Association, I go there every week to see what they're up to and what's happening. Their shop's doing quite well, and they work in conjunction with the cafe, and so you know there's a synergy there, which I think we hope to try to retain. But then I'll come on to why that might be a problem under 10.2. So that's just my brief point there, if that's all right. Now under 10.2, which is Oak Rail Forum, right. The first thing, just a brief note, Madam Clerk, is that February the 9th, there will be a small meeting at the Oakhampton Railway Station to discuss the refocusing of the Oak Rail Forum on other areas in the town in terms of the transport. So that issue I discussed first might well be discussed at that meeting, but that's going to be chaired by one of a former Devon County Council officer. So that's what's going to be happening there. So that's a small thing. What it will transpire is transpiring really from division, probably a division of the Oak Rail Forum from the something which we now call the Rail Forum, really which meets here once a quarter. So probably the two will be slightly more separate. The Rail Forum will cover Oakhampton, Tavistock, Launceston, Bude, all those sorts of areas, and have wider discussions, where the Oak Rail Forum will more focus around the town and the immediate issues around the railway there, which will include, of course, as I know from going there with some of my colleagues, the new Parkway Stroke Interchange station. So they'll probably sort of divide up their interest a bit, but the Rail Forum is probably going to be called the Rail and Bus Forum, which will probably make more sense actually, because the buses go, you know, to the stations. So Rail and Bus Forum are probably what it would be called, but that's to be worked on. But that's what's happening there in terms of development. Now, an issue that I've been talking to the press about today is really, which we're all familiar with around the table, is the not infrequent disruptions we get at Dawlish. I'm sure you're all, I see someone laughing.
Especially this week.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. So I just want to say publicly that I have been in touch, well, they tried to get in touch with me and we worked on this. I've been in touch with the local paper, the local press, and they will be covering this issue. And this reinforces a point that I've made and others have made around this table many times before. There is a need for the Oakhampton, Tavistock, Plymouth route to be reinstated. So that small gap in between is increasingly important. And it's no point, I'm not talking about just local people having a nice trip just to Tavistock and so forth. I'm talking about climate change and defence of the realm. So if you disrupt the line along via Dawlish, then, you know, if you needed to get transport to Plymouth to the dockyard, you wouldn't be able to do so by rail. And with the climate change, this is obviously, as we all know, because we all listen to it, is a frequent problem of seawall, infiltration over the railway and causing a disruption for a couple of days. So I think it doesn't do any harm to say, let's get the Exeter to Plymouth line via this route reopened, and it's a small piece of line really between Meldon and Tavistock, and the red herring often mentioned is the viaduct. Well, I stood under that viaduct with Mel Schride and a former engineer who's also a government minister, and I stood there and they said to me, Patrick McLaughlin it was actually, I stood there and Patrick McLaughlin said to me, Michael, it would be easy for us to strengthen this viaduct. So what it often is, I think, is a political red herring to avoid opening that line. Also, I will say to you that other groups that I go to, I try to go around all the railway groups, other railway groups I go to in Knudsen and Bude and various places, they have mapped out, and I'll try and get the maps to you, they mapped out a route which would go across that river without having to go over the viaduct. So alternative routes have been mapped out really very clearly and very professionally, I have to say. So I ought to try and get those documents so as councillors can see them. So I think it might be helpful for all of you to see it and be able to discuss what they've done. So I'm relatively hopeful that every time this happens, you know, it just reinforces our case. So there's a lot of money being spent in other parts of this country on rail networks, but let's have a small amount spent here, is what I say, and I see a nod from my learned friend down there. So that's what I want to say to you. And then the final point is, we've got this interesting triangle. It's a metaphorical triangle. We've got something called the 317 bus, which one of my learned friends knows about, the 6 and 6A bus, and the 118 bus. Okay, so we've all got these little buses, and at the moment, they all serve the current Okehampton station. Now, one of the things that I talked about with the press today was the proposal that the 118 bus will go from West Street to the new interchange stroke Parkway station and not serve, that's what I was told. So that's something that I know one of the county councillors is looking at. Thank you. So that's me.
Yes.
I wonder if I could just ask a question, Chairman. Councillor Allen, when originally the plan then, if you like, was a three-phased approach regarding the opening of the railway, Okehampton to Exeter, Tavistock, Plymouth, and then the middle bit to join them up. Tavistock to Plymouth looked like it was kind of going ahead, and then the HS2, that money that was from HS2 that was promised was withdrawn. Is there any appetite to review those phasing for the second phase then to be Okehampton to Tavistock, which would then strengthen possibly the Tavistock case if they are having difficulty in, you know, because they seem to be pushing water uphill actually in being able to, you know, get that funding to actually open that last bit. So if the Okehampton to Tavistock was reopened before Tavistock to Plymouth, that would strengthen their case. Is there any appetite or any chance of that phasing being reviewed, or is that perhaps a bit of a pipe dream?
I think that's an excellent point, and you know, if you write, I've got a note from the clerk on this. I will raise that with Richard Seawright, who is my opposite number, as you know, Richard Seawright, opposite number in Tavistock, to try to rethink this. I think what the point you made is excellent, but we mustn't lose hold of this, as you were saying to me. And so if I can have some note of that, I will take that up and bring it back to the next planning meeting for you. Would that be all right? Something like that? I'll follow it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's an excellent question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, me, citizens' voice. I've actually been trying to get hold of the Chief Executive Officer, and she's a bit hard to get hold of. But I'm waiting for a response so I can have a chat. And once I've had that, I'll reiterate a report back to the committee.
Sorry. No, I try and press.
Sorry, yes,
Get you on.
that's fine.
Sorry about that.
I'll say it again. Thank you. So, citizen voice. I've been trying to get a response back from the CEO, and I'm waiting a response to my last email. Once I've got that and found out how things are going, I'll report back. Auckland Centre, it jogs along. It's, well, I suppose it's like all community centres. You can only do what you can with the money you can get, and that's getting harder and harder to find. The platforms have been in place for some time, but hopefully there's going to be an official opening sometime in the spring. But funds are being looked for tables and stuff to go on them. Food bank continues on a Thursday morning. I haven't had any figures back from how many people they're serving of late. I must try and find out a bit more about that. So for that one. 10.5 is apologies from me here, times 2 really.
Yeah.
One's because I couldn't go. 2, I never actually had an invitation. And 3, on the other side of it, they couldn't actually let in virtually anyhow. But I have had the report and I have sent it to the clerk for circulation. Quite a long one. There's a lot of people involved. Would you like to say anything?
No, I was unable to attend as well. What we do understand is that more or less the entire meeting is now spent, shall we say, networking, where individual members have the opportunity to speak, and there isn't so much time to actually discuss the projects and things of that nature. So there we go.
That's been like that for a long time. A long time. That's where you do see where 2 or 3 people are doing exactly the same thing because they've just got their 3 years funding. They're all doing a good job, but could they do it better working together? That's still my concern. But there's some brilliant work done on it there. And it's not shaded enough to say what is going on out there. Right. So the one for me is the community transport group, and this is going ahead a bit. Their next coffee morning's on March the 28th this year. The biggest issue that they've had of late is the roads issue. So it's costing. We have a community transport driver in our midst, but it's costing more for the passengers if they're just being taken down to the physical centre. Now, it's okay at the moment. Let's first say it was fine up to a point, unless you're coming from the other end of the road, this end of the town. And you'd have to go all the way around the A30 to take someone to the medical centre. And that's coming again. There's no choice, as I can say, this next time round. So community transport came at a log because it's not fair that those passengers should be made to pay for what's happening on the roads. That's whether we can actually make a claim and get any payment for it. Because I understand that shops and businesses can, but they've got to prove.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone today who said they've got a bit of an issue here because for certain shops, January is a bad month anyhow. So they've got to look back to last year and see how well they did or didn't do there, and then look at how it's affected them this year. But this one particular business has been badly hit. It certainly looks like this. Right, last one. Rural Market Town Group. There's been nothing on Market Town Group since I was at last Centre report, but there is a RSN meeting this week. And when I get the minutes of that, I'll circulate them. I will say, I mean, I've been attending the RSN meetings for years now, and they do an absolutely brilliant job of lobbying government. But unfortunately, we're not getting it anywhere. We're still underfunded. All the way through. I was reading this morning that even Kent Council schools, Devon is underfunded by thousands of pounds per pupil to other parts of the country. And this fair funding, and I'm not being political, I'm independent, I'll say that for this thing. But when everybody talks about fair funding, it should be fair funding. Not when you drill it down, it means we've got even less. And I can only hope that people will start listening to the RSN more and actually opening the coffers a bit better. Right, that's it. No, it's got any other urgent.
I was just
No,
going to
nothing.
suspend this bit.
So,
Part 2, I was going to suggest we do resolve the.
it's proposed that the committee is recommended to
Yeah.
pass the following resolution, which that under section 1, brackets 2 of the public bodies, brackets, admission to meetings, close brackets, Act 1960, that the public and press be excluded from the meeting for the following items. And thank you, members of the public.
Bye,
It's
Dan. See you
really
later.
nice to see someone at last.
Right, you've got a proposer.
Second, thank you. All in favour?
Please bear with me while I switch off the